Hey guys, it's Eric with the Miller Park Minute, where we're throwing strikes and getting likes, hitting dingers, and getting listeners. Back again with another episode. I don't even know what number in a row this is, but this is your only, I wanted to say 37, maybe 37, I don't know. This is your only Brewers Daily podcast. We are always here every day, 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time is our upload time on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio, Castbox, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and just about anywhere you get a podcast. We also stream live on Twitch occasionally. That being said, we are back, throwing strikes, getting likes, hitting dingers, getting listeners. We're going to talk about a couple things today. I am a little under the weather, so if my voice is off or this sounds a little bad, I apologize. It's just a little something in the throat today. A little something in the throat. We should be fine, but we're going to get through it, and we'll get this in here. So, again, your Brewers only daily Brewers podcast. If you want to support us, you can hop on over to the Patreon. That's patreon.com/MillerParkMinute. Feel free to stop on over there. We got a lot on the plate today. There's a little bit going on. We're actually starting to get into that cycle of actual news. So I'm going to cover some things from around the world of Milwaukee Brewers and just some things I've seen and heard in the last 24 hours now. So as you guys know, I listen to just about every podcast that is out there. I consume a lot of content, so this is where a lot of this information comes from and where I get my info. So talking baseball the other day, had a very nice conversation about our Milwaukee Brewers. They always speak, this is part of the reason I like talking baseball, is because they always speak really highly of the Brewers. Trevor Plouffe, former Minnesota Twin, is on that show, and he always has a lot of good things to say about us in Milwaukee. So that's one of my favorite podcasts, just because they speak very positively. They have a different look at how they do things, and that's why I really like that podcast. So if you haven't heard it, Talking Baseball, they're really solid. It's John Boy Media guys. They do the funny clips of baseball. So if you haven't seen them, check them out. But Trevor Plouffe said that he could see a late season trade for Joc Pederson coming to the Brewers to add that extra bat while we're in contention, which I thought was funny. And then they brought up the conversation with the kids in the front row and Joc Pederson hitting a home run, and that was really cool. So if that happens, that'd be really, really awesome. Another thing that they talked about, or that they put out today, was their all underrated team. And Willy Adames is on it. So I want to grab that in just a second, but first let's talk about one other thing on Twitter before I go over to that, because I have to pull up a separate tab. Oh, I just lost what I was looking at too. Our good friend Dom Controneo put out earlier today a... Where is he? There we go. He put out his projected, this is version 1.0 of Dom's roster. So this is what Dom says is going to be the roster for opening day or at the start of the series. And this is as of today. So I'm assuming he might do this again. Dom is a multi-skilled guy. He puts out a lot of content. And he works for 620. So, and directly for the Brewers through Bally Sports, I believe it is, as a statistician. So he's saying first Christian Yelich, Willy Adames, Rowdy Tellez at first, William Contreras, catcher, DH, Jesse Winker, Luis Urias at third, Garrett Mitchell, center field, Bryce Turing at second base, Tyrone Taylor, right field. He's saying the infield prospect, I guess, utility infielder is going to be Brasso, backup catcher, obviously Caratini, catching hitter for an infielder, Brian Anderson for utility. Pitchers, Corbin Burns, Brandon Woodruff, Freddie Peralta, Eric Lauer, Wade Miley. In the pen, Aaron Ashby, Adrian Hauser, Byce Wilson, Javi Guerra, Hobie Milner, Matt Bush, Peter Strzelecki, and Devin Williams. So nothing out of the ordinary. He's not predicting anything out of the ordinary there. Nothing I wouldn't see. There's nothing left off of there that I wouldn't disagree with. So I think that's right on par. But let's go to talking baseball real quick. I want to get that list of other players that are on their all underrated list. Because I mentioned it, now I want to complete it. How it works. So talking baseball, let's find them on Twitter. And all these guys are going to be out at spring training and giving us is it Talk in Baseball? Let's see. Talk in Baseball. Let's see if that's what it is. I think it is Talk in Baseball. Yep, it is. I put talking. My bad. So they did, the predicted trades for the 2023, who will be traded, where they will go, was what I was talking about there. That was their latest episode. But the all underrated list is right here. Okay, so they are going with Garcia, Renfroe, Santander for outfielders. Diaz, Adames, Polanco, Walker, Riley for catcher. Pitchers Gallen, Cease, and Kelly. So that's around the horn. That's their version of what Major League Baseball put out the other day. I think that's great to say because I think Willy Adames is underrated as far as MLB concerns are. That's really solid. So we do have a sad bit of news to report right out of the gate, right before spring training really kicks off. And this came from a McKelvey tweet and straight from the Brewers, so a little nerve-wracking. Aaron Ashby behind schedule due to shoulder fatigue. Luckily, this comes out before spring training even opens. I was just looking at the date. February 8th is today. So basically, Brewers lefty Aaron Ashby will be behind schedule this spring as he's dealing with shoulder fatigue. General Manager Matt Arnold had announced today via Twitter through Adam McKelvey. The team did not provide a timetable when Ashby might be ready, but suboptimal start to the talented Southpaws 2023 season. Ashby, 24, opened 2022 season with the Milwaukee Brewers bullpen, made a pair of spot starts in April and had forced his way into the rotation in late May through many injuries, of course. Though the season's first 2 months and the 2018 fourth round had pitched 40 innings at a 2.7 ERA with a 29.8% strikeout ratio. Now he did have, and I'm not going to read this whole thing, but he did have an injury last year, a shoulder injury. So this goes on line with that. Maybe he's not fully healed up. So a little bit of shoulder fatigue is something at this stage of the game that's not an immediate red flag, but I do think it is cause for concern for Aaron Ashby, where he stands, where we are as coming in with a guy who should be a good bullpen or even a sixth starter if needed. That being said, we still do have many starter options. You know, you're looking at Byce Wilson, our other guys. Adrian Hauser is another guy that you can use. Of course, we got Wade Miley. And then you've got your Gus Varland, your Ethan Small, Jason Alexander, if we need him. And then there was another trade rumors article, and this I just wanted to, I'm not going to read this, but I'm just going to tell you what it says. So sorting through the outfield options for the Brewers. Basically, it says we don't have Lorenzo Cain and we don't have Andrew McCutcheon and Hunter Renfroe, which were kind of our locked last year. So there's a little bit more competition. The lock is Christian Yelich. The short-term vet is Jesse Winker. Brian Anderson is going to be a role player out there. Guys with control. They're talking about Tyrone Taylor, Garrett Mitchell, Sky Bolt, Monte Harris, who are probably not going to make the major league roster out of the gate, but they'll be used in breaking case of emergency type players. Infielders that can play some outfield: Bryce Turing, Mike Brasso, Keston Hiura. On the cusp of debut, Blake Perkins, Sal Frelick, Joey Wiemer. And then they're saying, this is my idea of a long shot, but they're saying Jackson Chourio is a guy who could potentially show up at some point. If we get to that point, danger has happened. It's gotten ugly. So, that being said, let's move right along. Milwaukee Brewers top prospect 2023 Jackson Chourio leads after breakout season. Sal Frelick not far behind, put up by the CBS Sports. So basically they're saying Major League Baseball is in full swing. That means everyone is thinking about the future. In most cities, it means what's next. In some, it means the bigger picture. The next 3 to 5 years, you're either selling wins or selling hope. The old saying we have at CBS Sports: sports like to provide as much hope as we can around this time of the winter by evaluating each team's farm system. So, like everybody is doing, they're breaking into the farm systems. They're talking about farm systems. So they're talking about basically the top guys here. They're breaking down Jackson Chourio, number 4 of the top 20. Sal Frelick, outfielder. He's number 2. Joey Wiemer is number 3. It's another ranking list of outfielders that I got confused. I thought it was going to be a breakdown. Yeah, it is. It lists just our top guys. I thought they were actually good. Yeah, these are just talking about different Scott Boras clients and things of that nature. So, yeah, basically, they're. Got 3 great guys. Garrett Mitchell kind of already seems like he might be borderline out of prospect status. I don't know if he's a candidate for the Rookie of the Year. I have to look at how much time they actually need for that. That I don't know off the top of my head. So I will report back on that at a later time, I guess. So then we go into our friends over at Bleacher Report. I don't know if you guys have this on your phone, but it's great to set up your teams and your players that you want to follow and everything like that. And they give really good articles and kind of what's happening. They can be a spoiler, though. So if you're like, say you're following the Bucks, they can give you the Bucks score before you even get home to turn the game on, which kind of can spoil it sometimes. I don't know. Everybody has to fine-tune it to their liking, but Bleacher Report is a great app for anything and everything, sports, boxing, wrestling, it's all there. So we're going to go straight down to the National League Central. We're going to skip all the flaws of the other teams in the American League because we only care about the NL Central and basically this is what's going to stand in our way. So we'll start with the Chicago Cubs. Chicago Cubs is the bullpen. They're saying the bullpen finished 21st in the majors with a 4.12 ERA last season, and the relief corps was gutted at the deadline when David Robertson, Scott Efros, Michael Givens were all traded. Brad Boxer was signed. They brought in Boxberger after we used him up. Signed in free agency. Merriweather was claimed off waivers. And they'll join Brennan Hughes, Albert Azole, Ron Wick, Michael Rucker, in a cobbled together and largely unproven relief corps. All right. Oh my God, this one, just the first line says it all, and I'm not gonna read it anymore. Cincinnati Reds, a general lack of talent outside of Joey Votto. one of Butcher's NL Central Hall of Famers, Joey Votto, is still on that team. I'll see if albeit his role might probably diminish. I mean, he's getting out there in age. I think he's played like 18 or 19 seasons at this juncture. All right, what are they saying about ours? Okay. What did we just talk about? The outfield. They're saying by trading Hunter Renfroe and letting Andrew McCutchen walk in free agency, the Brewers are relying heavily on some combination of Garrett Mitchell, Tyrone Taylor, non-roster invitees Sal Frelick and Joey Weimer to handle the two starting spots in the outfield alongside left fielder Christian Yelich. Okay. Well, 4 of those have top prospect pedigree, but they're also largely unproven and could create a black hole at the bottom of the lineup if no one steps forward in immediate contribution. Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, that's not a bad take. I'll buy that one because this is kind of like starting a Corbin Burns, a Freddie Peralta, and a Brandon Woodruff years ago. Unproven. But let's try it. All right, Pittsburgh. We have 2 general lack of talents. It's a shame we're not going to play more games against these 2 teams. And they signed Rich Hill. They got Brian Reynolds. They got Key Brian Hayes. Come on. They got Kutchback, O'Neal Cruz. I don't know. I think they have more talent than the Reds have. So St. Louis, last but not least, in the NL Central. If everything breaks right, the Cardinals talented enough to run away with the NL Central, which is kind of what everybody's predicting. But they lack starting pitching. Jack Flaherty and Steven Matz combined for 18 starts and 84 innings pitched last year. Both guys will be counted on to hold down the spot in the rotation. Meanwhile, continued success of 41-year-old Adam Wainwright will also be a major X factor. So yeah, Waino's back this year, and let's hope we can. He doesn't prove to continue to be the solid player that he's been. I just got capped. I was going to click onto a Milwaukee Journal article, so I guess we're going to skip that one for tonight. Don't you just love how these news? This is what's wrong with the news. A lot of people don't like to read these articles. When you click on them and you have a limited amount of clicks, it sucks. I don't know. The news needs to do something better. I mean, yeah, I can pay $1 and get unlimited reads, but I don't want to give them $1. I just don't. Brewers Fanatic. We haven't posted yet this week to Brewers Fanatic. We hopefully will have a video here in the next 24 to 48, just depending on how I feel and everything like that. But they have an article talking about the strange. What can Eric Lauer's strange splits tell us about his 2023 projections? By Matthew Trueblood. Matthew is a writer over there, does a great job. He's got some good stuff. And again, this is all fan-based articles out there. My head is again. That's kind of trippy when you're talking and you see yourself on video. So basically, he's got righty-lefty splits. So Eric Lauer is a left-hander, but he bodes better against right-handers. And that's kind of the opposite of what you would expect. You know, usually you're a left, like in relief corps, they're lefty specialists. You know, you guys like Alex Claudio, your Hobie Milners. And there's plenty of, this isn't abnormal by any means, but there's plenty of righties that prefer to face left-handed batters. There's plenty of lefties that prefer to face right-handed batters. This isn't weird by any means, but it's just something unique. Basically, they tell us, kind of break down the ins and outs of it. And they've kind of known this for years. He's got some good graphics in here, so go look at the graphics. Excuse me. This throat is really just kind of kicking my butt at this point. I apologize. So this part I am going to read to you directly from the article. When he arrived in Milwaukee, Lauer was a soft-tossing southpaw with subpar extension. His fastball lacked ability to effectively miss bats anywhere in the zone. With a short arm path, increased efficiency in his mechanics, though he now has average velocity, average extension. That means that he can get whiffs with the pitch, but only at the top of the zone. Craig Counsell noted in a story as far back as early as 2021 that Lauer is a left-hander who likes to face righties because he likes to throw it up in the zone. He likes to throw it in on their hands, but you have to have the confidence to do that because there's thin margins for error when you do that. So basically he has this ability. He's gotten better as a Brewer. He's definitely benefited from being here. And he's doing better every year, and I think that's great. But there is a thin margin for error with the way he pitches. So do I think he's going to be good this season? Yes, I do. I really do. I'm trying to remember if they said in here what if they gave him a record projection. Excuse me. Let's see here. They did. All right. Let's reference that. So yeah, go read these articles. You can comment. You can join the community. They give out little badges and cool stuff. So Eric Lauer. Now, again, last year was the big innings thing that we talked about with Freddie Peralta not getting as many innings. So we want everybody to get their fair share of innings. He is projected for 151 innings pitched, a 9-8 record, a 4.11 ERA, 125 WHIP, 145 strikeouts. So it's kind of mid-pack. Yeah, because then they're saying Brandon Woodruff will get 183, 12-8 record, 3.39 ERA, 1.09 WHIP, and 206 strikeouts. Of course, Corbin Burns, 196 innings pitched, 14-18 record, 3.17 ERA, 1.06 WHIP, and 247 strikeouts. So that's actually more than he got last year. But they're saying he's going to do it in less innings. So that's interesting. Freddie, coming off of 75 innings, they're going to project he gets 131 innings, 9-6 record, 3.57, 1.16 WHIP, and a 146 for strikeouts. Devin Williams, they're saying, is going to have 68 innings, 3-5 win-loss record, 41 saves. Ooh, that's a big number. That is a very big number. 3.04 ERA, 1.15 for WHIP, and 98 strikeouts. So I like these numbers in a way. And I said I'd reference this article more and this magazine more. This is the Lindy's Sports Baseball 2023 preview. I mentioned it briefly the other night. But one of the things I like here in reading this magazine is they're kind of giving you not sky high numbers, but more grounded numbers. I think they're erring on the side of caution and the side of being safe when they project these things. Just to give you some more examples, and I said we'll do a deep dive on this later in the week. Willie Adames batting average, they're projecting 243, 7. Apologize, my contacts are dry. 761 OPS, 86 runs, 28 homers, 88 RBIs, 6 stolen bases. William Contreras, 259, 751, 53 runs, 19 home runs, 55 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. Garrett Mitchell, 268, 763, 47, 7, 37, and 19. I would think he'd be 2020. I'll put that as a stamp that on one of my predictions. Tyrone, they're saying 243, 759, 56 runs, 19 homers, 64 RBIs, 5 stolen bases. Rowdy Tellez, 248, 795, 71, 30 homers, 87 RBIs, and one stolen base. They're still giving Rowdy a stolen base. Luis Ruiz, 238, 739, 67, 18 homers, 61 RBIs, and 4 stolen bases. Jesse Winker is going to come to a 261, which is actually, that's fairly accurate with what I've seen across the board. A lot of these numbers are fairly accurate what I've seen across the board. They are going to give him an 8. It's an 8 or a 6. I think it's an 8. 835, 66 runs, 21 home runs, 62 RBIs, and 1 stolen base. Christian Yelich, 244, 733, 101, 15, 61, and 16 stolen bases. So they're not using the theory like everybody else is. They're not using the theory like everybody else is, where with the new rules that the numbers are going to go up dramatically, but they are saying they are going to go up. They don't have Freddie being that much better, limited to 78 innings due to shoulder strain, loss of dip and zip in the fastball. Yeah, I mean, I personally think that you can take positives and negatives out of every projection and every magazine and every article. That's why I read so many, and why I talk about so much different stuff when I talk about this with you guys. Because of that, just variety of different reports out there, and that ability that we have to just project so much different stuff. Like I said, it's at this point we're just so in the news cycle that we're seeing, projection lists, flaw lists, underrated players, all those different things. So we're going to see a lot more of that coming in the coming week. And I'm going to start doing more predictions too. At this juncture, I would have to agree with Dom's predicted lineup that I read earlier in the episode here. If I'm not seeing any major injuries, I don't think this Ashby thing is a holdup at this point. Obviously, we'll watch that closely and see what happens with it. But at this juncture, I don't see that Ashby thing being as much of a problem. Time will tell, though. I mean, they're there. They're gonna get their physicals. They're gonna start working. Aches and pains, fatigue, those little things are gonna come up along the way. Hopefully, not devastatingly bad at this juncture. But that being said, guys, that's all I got for you tonight. I made it through. I apologize if it was a little more stumble and stutter happy than usual. I just a little under the weather. So like I said, I appreciate it, guys. I ain't gonna give up an episode just because I may be facing a little bit of an ailment. If I'm really sick, yeah, then I might give up an episode. But I'm gonna do my best to come to you every day, talk baseball, just because I love it and I enjoy doing this. Like I said, we're on all platforms: Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeart, Amazon, Pocket Cast. Check us out everywhere. Monday, we got a very, very special guest, a very special episode. I'm going to try to do predictions tomorrow night on... tomorrow night's episode. Probably have some more predictions, some like pre-spring training predictions, and then we'll go into after spring training predictions after that, or mid-spring training. Much like we do every year. And then we're going to talk about, I still got to put up the episode where you can watch it's mostly the same. We just lost a couple services. Like some of the streamings are losing it. But I think that's good news. And I'll tell you why in that episode. So there might be a term and a time where MLB.TV is going to be the saving grace for everyone. So once I know more, once I've read more on that, I will tell you guys about that. But this juncture right now, and I think we're staying pat with a lot of everything. So, but I will do that research and I will get you all that information here in the coming days. So as always, guys, thank you for watching. Go over and if you want to leave a little support on the channel, I would appreciate that. Leave a comment below. We appreciate each and every one of you guys for me and the Butcher. So as always, guys, go Brewers, and thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute.
Thank you for watching the Miller Park Minute. Go Brewers.